Good evening.
Now they
We're
should
ready
get
to
the
rock.
camera on. Here we go.
I would like to be a panelist. Join as
Which one do you
play as an attendee. That's me.
Vance,
Hi,
hi.
Tammy.
I've promoted you to panelist. We're about to kick things off here, okay? Just sit tight, all right?
Okay, that sounds good.
Do you have anybody else with you? There's several other attendees. Is there anybody else helping you?
No, not at this moment, not here.
Okay.
But yeah, they are on Zoom, I believe.
Okay, but they're going to speak and support, not do your presentation.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, it is now 7:03 p.m. and I will call this meeting of this May 16th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals to order. And to begin that, I will read the call to order. Good evening and welcome to the May 16th, 2024 meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. For all present, let's spend a few minutes reviewing how this meeting will be conducted. For the first 2 hours prior to 9 p.m., we shall hold a public hearing on the applications that you received a notice on and that were listed in the Norwalk Hour for hearing. After the application is announced by the chair and read by the secretary, the applicant will state his or her name for the record and then present the appeal or relief being sought. Please present those zoning issues that are relevant to the practical difficulties or hardship requiring this application. After you or your representative has spoken, those in favor will have the chance to be heard. After that segment, those against the application will have the opportunity to state their opposition for the record. In the case of an appeal, the zoning staff will have the opportunity to present their findings. Finally, after those against the application have spoken, the applicant and only the applicant will have the opportunity to rebut and respond to the issues raised. The hearing is then closed and the next application called. New applications will not normally be heard after 9 p.m. as the board must discuss and act upon these applications. Please note that no further public input is accepted at that time. You are welcome to stay for this portion of tonight's meeting, but you should decide to leave. You may contact the zoning office tomorrow to learn about our decision. Before we proceed tonight, I must remind you that this hearing is a recorded video conference and will become a matter of permanent public record. For public comment period, all comments must state their name and addresses, and comments must be on topic. Anyone using threatening, hateful, or sexually explicit language will be cut off and removed from the meeting and will not be allowed to rejoin. The first case to be heard this evening is application 24-051601, F. Lance Fazzino. Do we have our secretary online?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, Danielle, would you read?
Sure. All right. Application 24-0516-01 F. Vance Fazzino, special exception per section 8.3.3a.2.b to unmerge lots joined under same ownership per section 1.21.3a.2. Property located at 19 Ponus Ave, merged with 17 Ponus Ave, District 5, Block 56, Lot 135. Request: applicant seeks to separate his two adjoining lots, 17 and 19. These lots are merged because they are under the same ownership and due to 19 Ponus being a non-conforming undersized lot at 4,669 square feet. Background: the previous zone designation was B residence. The current zone designation is CD-1S. Both the former and current zone minimum lot size is 6,250. Therefore, the lots are merged based upon perspective of the zoning regulations. 17 Ponus has an existing single-family dwelling. Analysis and findings. Both lots were created as part of a subdivision in 1923. It is not necessary to demonstrate a zoning hardship for special exceptions. The non-conformity is the lot area, and the history seems to indicate that this was a lot that was intended to be built upon at some point. The application for special exception was submitted after the new zoning regulations were adopted. As such, the staff requests that the board condition an approval of the special exception to unmerge the lots with the requirement that the subsequent zoning permit application survey and plans meet the current regulatory building standards for zone CD-1S for a proposed single-family dwelling.
Very good. Tammy, we have 6 board members. One of the alternates will not be needed on this item. Tammy?
Yep, which, so should we let Steve do the first one and Ben can do the second?
Yes, that's the way we'll proceed exactly.
And then I wanted to remind everyone, the applicant will probably speak to this, but the notice requirement, it was not fully met as it was regular mail versus certified mail. Vance, are you ready to begin your presentation? Or
Yes.
the board needs to decide. I'm sorry, the board needs to decide if they want to let the applicant move forward tonight if they consider the regular mail sufficient for neighbor notification.
Well, the first question I'll ask you, Tammy, have we received any letters from neighbors?
No letters, no inquiries, but there are several attendees here. I don't know if they are neighbors for Vance. He could maybe speak to that.
Okay.
Yes, I did hand deliver and then send out by mail the letter that was stating the time and the meeting, the internet meeting portion. I spoke to 2 of them today, and they said they would be happy to join in and that they had no objections, but you know, that's for them to tell you. So next step, please.
I'm missing something here. What exactly did we not get, Tammy?
So it was sent regular mail versus certified mail, the neighbor notification letters.
All right. And you had what, a list of regularly mailed letters?
Yes, I had a list and I typed the letter for each of the other people and included the date, the time, and sent them out. Hand delivered and delivered by mail as well.
You know, I've been on the...
I'd be more comfortable if you sent the certified mail. I'm okay with hearing you tonight, but I think you ought to get the certified mail done, and then it would be short work in our next meeting. But yes. I'm not comfortable with skipping that step.
Excuse me, if I may say, and I'll just back up. This has been going on since last year, and as you can imagine, I'm quite frustrated. What I want to do I have the separate lot, which I bought.
Please don't, Mr. Fazzino, please do not proceed yet with your
Okay.
presentation. We
Okay.
need to resolve this first.
Yeah,
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I don't mind hearing it tonight.
Oh,
It's just that by the next meeting, we would have to have the certified.
Yes, I was going to say that. You know, I've been on the Zoning Board of Appeals a while. Andy, you have the longest tenure. And I cannot remember any application that we've heard without the certified mailings. But
that's true for me as well.
I am very willing, if the rest of the board agrees, to hear this application and reserve the final decision to our next meeting.
Excuse me, and when will the next meeting be?
Next month.
June 20th, I believe.
Okay, just another month gone by.
Well, if you get it done right the first time, then we could have you tonight and we'd be all done with it. But we're being kind.
I'm sorry, but
we're letting you proceed.
I didn't realize it had to be done that way. It is my fault. I'm sorry. I take the blame. So let us move on.
Well, let me poll the board. If you are in agreement that we hear this item, set it aside for decision, wait for the certified mailing receipts to return, and make a final decision in June, please signify by raising your hand. I see an approval. So, Mr. Fazzino, we will hear you this evening, and we will reserve our decision for the June meeting. So please proceed.
Well, I bought this piece of property and
please, let me stop you again. I hate to do this. Do you have any visuals that you can put up on your screen?
No.
No, you do, Vance. Remember, you're going to tell me. Do you want me to put this?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes.
It's okay.
Tammy has the plans from the architect, which she can show you in the building department or whatever.
Yeah, we have both survey and plans. I'll share those now.
Thank you.
Before you get too deep into this, tell us what you're trying to achieve, Mr. Vance.
Okay. I'm a miniaturist and an artist, and I work in my basement. And even though working with small things, you would think I wouldn't need much space, but I do. I make miniature room boxes, which I don't sell, and I would not be using the structure for sales when I kick off. And I hope that's going to be quite a ways, or at least till I get my zoning settled. These things are all going to a children's hospital. So I am not doing it for profit. And what I need is a space to work comfortably. I understand originally it said it's, building as a shed. It's not going to be a shed. It'll be a small house. And when I get old, I will probably transfer from my house to this little house, since it will all be on one floor. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm after.
All right. So you're looking for a small residence on the small lot. I understand. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. But it will be used as the studio in the meantime.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay.
Does everyone see the survey?
Yes.
Okay. So this is
the driveway is how wide?
My present driveway?
No, the proposed driveway for the small house.
I believe it was 18 feet wide. No, I'm not sure about that. And I don't have. hold on one second.
So let
Oops.
me interject that these plans do not comply with current regulations. So if you were to grant the special exception, it would be with the condition that they submit plans that would meet current regulations.
Okay.
But Tammy, do these not work now for the regulations?
No, I know. That's what I was trying to explain and go over. So you'll be able to do a plan. I think it's feasible that you can do another plan, but currently the driveway width is restricted differently, and your setbacks are actually different now.
Can you still build that house at the dimension that he's got?
It's
As
only
small
20
as it
by
is.
24 feet.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. It may need some reworking because the parking, yeah, I mean, something similar to this. Let's just say that. I think that's a safe way to say it.
Yeah.
Are there setback problems, Tammy?
It's not it's an additional setback. So this will be the principal frontage. And so the 30 feet is correct here, but with the secondary frontage now, you actually have a 20-foot setback. And the parking has to be behind that. And so again, I believe the house works, or at least is very close to working. So here it depicts this 35 from the center line, but actually it's going to be from here. What does that say, 15? So it's going to be like about there for the setback. And then he's going to probably need to get the parking either like under here or maybe this way. We'll have to work that out because you can't have, the parking has to be in the rear or beyond that 20.
So you think it's feasible he could redesign and get the footage that he's after?
Yes.
Okay.
And if he doesn't merge the lots?
So they're not
or unmerge the
merged.
lots.
Right. Yeah, sorry. So to do an accessory structure, he'd have to merge the lots and then he wouldn't be able to locate it. It would be, it has to be in the rear. So that would become one big lot under that scenario.
Right.
And it would need to be in the rear of the corner lot. So it proves difficult.
It also sounds, from what was said, that there would be a plan in the future to move into lot 41, which presumably means to sell number 17.
Correct.
I did. May I say something?
Sure.
When I bought this lot almost 50 years ago, I have paid taxes on it for 50 years, assuming it was a buildable lot. And it was sold to me as a buildable lot. And I pay heavy taxes on it for a piece of property that is now useless unless I could build on it. And it was merged at a time when I was not informed that it was going to be merged. So if it was a separate piece of property, why did it change? I know you make the laws and you change the laws. I understand that. But I should have been noticed had been noticed at the time that this was about to happen. And then I could have done something else. But not knowing and now having merge and not merge, and it is buildable, it isn't buildable, it's really quite frustrating, as I'm sure you could understand. And guys, I'm 84 years old. I don't have that much time left, so I need this structure.
Well, I think you could probably adjust. This is simple building that you're building. I think you could probably adjust the footprint of that and get yourself fixed and be able to do what you want to do.
I was going to recap and say my understanding is that if you get the
I'm losing connection here. Hello?
With
Yep,
me,
we've got you,
or
Lee.
Yeah, we hear you, Lee.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I was just going to recap, and I think that staff findings are that the board can grant this exception, and the subsequent, but with the requirement that the new zoning regulations have to be met. And as I listen to this, it sounds as if while this current map doesn't meet this current plan doesn't meet those regulations, it shouldn't be too much of a challenge to meet them. Is that a fair summary, Tammy? And
Yes, that's fair.
Anyway,
All right. So next step,
let me make sure. We've got the small lot next to the large lot where the applicant lives, and he's paid taxes for a long time, and they are merged, which can happen by statute. And he wants to unmerge them so that he can build this building.
exactly.
We have unmerged joined lots previously, and my recollection is that there are always setback problems involved in these. I don't see anything that can't be overcome.
Yeah. The unmerging has typically taken place when it's been demonstrated that they haven't been using and living and parking cars or creating a park or whatever on the other lot. If it's just not been used, then yeah, we've unmerged.
That would be good because
I have a question.
yes,
What square footage of this proposed dwelling are you looking to have?
it's only 20 by 24, and it's one large room with a kitchen, small kitchen, and a bathroom.
So one level then?
Yes, one level.
Okay.
I'll ask this question of Mr. Fanzino and Ms. Maldonado. There are numerous encroachments onto this lot from 17 Ponus. Will those have to be removed?
So how we have held that before is that's a civil matter between the owners.
Okay. So I don't have to concern myself with that in my thoughts.
No.
I don't
Okay.
think so. And if I may add, back in I think it was 1960 or no, it was 1979, I had the lot surveyed, and the surveyor actually put onto the lot the same size house. No, he actually had it a little bigger, and he said, this is what you can do with it. So in the meantime, since you've changed the laws and things, I had to get it surveyed to the tune of almost $5,000. So, you know, things are adding up, and I just want my workspace, house.
I can understand that, but this is what all applicants have to go through. I mean, it's a matter of jumping through hoops. I understand, and it can be very frustrating, but we're here to try to give applicants relief from problems with zoning regulations. So we're not trying to fight you on this.
No, I understand that. But honestly, I have looked around at other areas of Norwalk where houses have been built on pieces of land smaller than mine. A corner lot that I know of is just, maybe it has maybe 10 feet on either side of it as its property line. And there are a lot of things that are built that are not, you know, that I would say were not kosher. So, but anyway.
Well, they have to be kosher, and when they're not, they come before us. And that's why you're here tonight.
All right.
And Mr. Chairman and Tammy, do we have anyone in support? Or, I mean, feels to me like this is reasonably straightforward per staff findings and analysis.
Yeah. So we have
I think
oh, sorry.
I think before we hear from those in support, I'd like to see the plan for the drawings for the house.
Sorry,
not the shed.
It's not a shed.
what I said.
Yes, you did say that. It's not a shed.
He said that. Are we looking to get permission for that building? I didn't think we were.
I just wondered what it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
still, it's not what he's asked for tonight. What he's asked for is the unmerging rather, of the two
I
lots.
know.
And we don't need to know more than that. He's been very forthcoming in telling us what he wants to do and why he wants to unmerge.
Yeah.
How he's going to do that is for a later date.
Yeah. Well, I would, being the architect that I am, I'm interested. And I see that it's a
Okay.
very simple, I'll call it a studio
No, you can call it a small
house.
house.
Yeah. No objection to it.
Okay.
So why don't we go on and hear from those in support of this application?
If you wanted to speak in support on this matter, use your raise your hand feature. If you've called in, oh, yep, we've got one. Oops.
Mhm.
Okay. Chris, you should be able to speak now.
Yes. My name is Chris Bonnemort. I live across the street from Vance I'm on the corner lot of Ponus Avenue, 23 Ponus Avenue. So my house is on the corner of Will Russ and Ponus Avenue. And I've owned this house since, I think, 2013. And Vance is probably the quietest, gentlest neighbor I've ever had in my life. And he keeps the place extremely clean. And we've picked up garbage together in the streets. And, I can't think of a better person to grant this exception to, or the unmerging of the lots, and anything I can do to keep Vance here longer, the greater the neighborhood it'll be. And if you haven't seen any of his miniature stuff, the guy's a genius. He makes stuff out of like a fifth of a toothpick, some French chairs, and like blew my mind, but that doesn't matter here. But anyway, he's a very quiet, humble man. And I really ask you to help him get his all of this taken care of. And I wish I had more. I can't say enough good things about him. And thank you for hearing me. Do you have any questions for me, or do I just sign off here?
I have no questions. Any other board members?
No
Nope.
questions.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Amy, anyone else with their hand raised?
so if you've phoned in, you need to press *9 to raise your hand. No other raised hands.
Okay. Mr. Vance and Mr. Fazzino, any further comments from you?
Vance, you'll need to unmute. Vance, if you wanted to add any comments, you'll need to unmute.
There you go.
Okay. Good.
Mr.
No.
Fazzino, do you have any final comments?
No. There's nothing I could say. I just hope that I'll get the certified mail certificates for next meeting, and that'll be that. So, and I'm sorry I messed up, but this is life.
Well, thank you very much. And we will hear you again at the June 20th hearing again. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I know.
Bye.
Okay. Our next application is 240516-02, Luke and Juliana Belcastro. Danielle, if you would read the application.
All right. Item 24-0516-02, Luke and Juliana Belcastro, variance of Article 4, Table 4.3.1b, front setback for proposed front porch, proposed 22.8 feet, required 30, at single-family dwelling, property located at 9 Covewood Drive, District 6, Block 19A, Lot 13. Request, applicant seeks setback variance to construct an unenclosed roof structure over front non-conforming portion of the home. The proposed new entry would add covered protection from the elements. Background, the single-family home was constructed in 1930. Portions of the facade are existing non-conforming within the front setback. Prior to the comprehensive zoning regulation update, this property was in Zone A with a required 40-foot setback. The current zone is now CD-1M with a required 30-foot front setback. Proposed roof structure would be located 22.8 feet to the property line. Analysis and findings. The same application for the front porch was granted a variance by the board in December of 2022. However, the time limitations for obtaining permits was not met, and the applicant is before the board for the same request. In order to meet the newly required impervious surface coverage maximum, the applicant will revert portions of the driveway to pervious surface.
Very good. Mr. Belcastro, would you come forward, unmute yourself, and join our meeting?
Yeah, I will, and just bear with me. I'm hoping that my laptop doesn't. Yes, thank you. My battery is gonna die.
Okay, while you're doing that,
bear with
Ben, you will be hearing this item.
Okay, I'm good. I'm logged in. Sorry about that.
Luke,
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, is
Yes,
Steve
sir.
still with us?
Excuse me?
Is Steve still with us?
He is.
The alternate.
Yes.
Because
all right, I want Steve to sit in for me because this house is less than a quarter mile from my house, so I'd rather just.
Very good. I have no issue with that.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Steve, you're on. Welcome back.
Okay. Lee, did you want me to comment or?
Give me just 1 minute. I thought Neil was doing your presentation. I'm getting him promoted to.
Okay, great. Yes.
Or I'm guessing is it Neil or Brian? It just says NHA.
It'll be either Neil or Brian. I'm not sure which, but hopefully they are.
We are here. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, can you see us?
No.
Okay, we have our screen up. So can you let us share our screen with you?
You have to accept being promoted to a panelist.
Okay, we don't see that anywhere on our screen here. Cancel that now.
Lower your hand and see if, there we go. Now you should be coming through. You just need, yeah, there you go. Unmute.
Sorry about that. All right, so for the record, my name is Neil Houck from Neil Houck Architects. I have my associate Brian O'Connor with me tonight, and Luke and Lou Belcastro are also sitting in on this and may comment later. So, so as it was just stated, we're requesting a variance to allow construction of an unenclosed roof structure along a portion of the front facade of the existing residence. Specifically, we are requesting a front yard of 22.8 feet in lieu of the 30-foot requirement. And that represents an encroachment of 7.2 feet into the front yard. However, it should be noted that the house, the southeast corner of the house, which you see here, my cursor's pointing at it, actually encroaches further. That's the point of most encroachment. That comes to, it encroaches 9.2 feet or 9.4 feet into the front yard, so that we are not increasing the nonconformity with this application. The house itself was constructed in 1930 with no covered roof structure over the front. So this is a picture of the house as it stands now, the front of the house as it stands now. And as you can see, there's no...
I can't see that, sorry.
Yeah, we're still seeing the survey.
Okay, give me a second. There we go. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the front stoop. This is the front of the house as it exists now. And you can see there's an existing masonry stoop here, but there's really no coverage over that. So in icy conditions and snowy conditions, this really creates a dangerous situation as guests and family members approach. This is a view of the side and then a close-up of the existing front stoop. So now what we're proposing is we're about to bring that drawing up. Okay, can you see the drawing, or are you still looking at photographs?
Looking at you.
Sorry about that. Okay, now you should be seeing the drawing. So this drawing shows you a partial plan of the first floor. You can see the stoop here. This is the front elevation. You can see what we're proposing to do with a roof that comes down and goes over all of the steps, the landing and the steps. And then we wanted to tie it back in over an existing bay window that has currently its own roof. We just wanted to tie that in, mainly for aesthetic reasons, but it also does help to shed water away from the front of the house. And as it was stated earlier, we previously applied for and received a variance for this very same request that became effective back on December 23rd, 2022. Now, unfortunately, this work was part of a larger project, and we were not able to complete construction drawings, solicit competitive bids from contractors, file the building permit application, and begin work for this larger project within the 6-month period stipulated in the zoning resolution. And we then inadvertently lost track of time and did not file a request for an extension within the 6-month period. So we are back in front of you, and I want to apologize to the board for having to bring the application to you a second time. And that really sums it up.
Well, I recall this application. I went through my paperwork and did find it. And I don't see any variations from that application.
True.
Can I
I also
comment?
think,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Can I comment, or I'll wait? Fine.
Go ahead, Steve.
I have saw Neil Hawk's work in the past, and I'm always amazed to see how he does things. He's always prepared, and I'm looking forward to more of his projects in town.
Thank you. Thank you.
I personally have no questions or significant comments. I think that, first of all, I'm familiar with Neil's work. And I think the overall appearance of this new front roof over the porch in the front of the house, I think it helps tie things together. In a way, the bay window kind of looked stuck on, and I think this ties it together.
I would agree with that.
I agree. I have no objections to this
No
application.
objections. No objections. Seems a very straightforward situation.
And it's nice to get some more permeable paving with the new regs.
Yes. How many square feet of paving have to be removed?
Is it the gray hatch zone on your survey?
Yes. It's about a little over 1,080 square feet, I think. And there are many different ways to do it. We're getting up the site plan right now. There we go. Can you see the site plan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, in the first go around, we identified this as the area that would be changed. I did meet with the Belcastros earlier today to discuss this, and they pointed out that before they paved their driveway, they got lots of water in the basement as it came down the side of the house and into the basement. And since paving it, they don't get water in the basement. So we may try to come up with another alternative, but our intention is to meet the regulation.
Neil, is it okay if we chime in? I apologize, we were listening, but we weren't able to. We had trouble getting access to a video and audio. Would now be an appropriate time to comment?
Go ahead, Mr. Belcastro.
Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you all for doing this. We appreciate the time to present this and appreciate the comments. We were able to hear what you had to say, and very appreciative of the comments you had about Neil and his work and what we're looking to do here at 9 Covewood. I think the one question that we had is, well, before I ask the question, we're more than happy to comply with the new regulations. If it means getting the variance, and we have to go through changes related to the new pervious regulations, we're happy to do that. We would like to do this to the front of the house. Yeah, with that said, Neil alluded to it, there are some ramifications that come from that. Our basement used to flood. It doesn't flood now. We got the approval in December of 22. And had we done this during the course of last year, we would be all set as is with presumably no questions asked because we got the approval for the variance. So unfortunately, the variance expired. We've been trying to do another renovation to the back part of the house that I think we're about to get approval on. And we've been trying to marry these two projects of doing the front of the house and the back of the house at the same time for cost purposes. Unfortunately, that variance application expired. So here we are looking for a new approval, but under new regs. And I think our request would be, is there any chance that we could be grandfathered in to the approval that took place in December of 22, when we didn't have to go through that process of thinking about how to replace 1,000 square feet of impervious property. But so the new regs have kind of hit us at a bad time. Again, we respect all of this. We respect the process. If we have to go through with this, we will, certainly. But we would like to ask the committee, is there any scenario where you would consider us grandfathered in, that this was a little bit of a surprise to us? There is a cost, there is an inconvenience factor, and there's a bit of an appeal from the Belcastros to the committee to allow for this. And I do, the last comment that I would make is, when we got the initial approval, it was, I think, in part because we used to have a garage that was non-conforming in the back part of our property, which you can see. We decided to renovate that garage in a conforming way. So we didn't decide to play games and figure out ways to kind of keep it as is. And it violated certain regulations. We renovated it. We kind of played by the law. We renovated it in a way that was conforming. So we're not looking to play games. We respect all of these processes, but we kind of got caught up in a weird period of time here where something lapsed because we were trying to marry two projects together. Regulations changed. We still want to go forward with this, but if we have to accept the changes, we will. But we would ask the committee to please consider that, could we be grandfathered into this process?
That would be a discussion we'll have at the end of this meeting. But I will ask you, is there any thought to removing the asphalt paving in front of the garage as opposed to along the north side of your house?
In front of the, yeah, I think, again, we're willing to try to comply with the new regs if need be. However, whatever's the most efficient process, whether it's in the front of the house or the back of the house, we'll
well, I'm trying to think of your basement flooding problem.
Exactly.
So, it might be preferable to remove the hard surface in front of the garage than along the house.
Yes, we were thinking about that. This is all real time because we just found out that there was new regs, and we've been scrambling, so we haven't been able to go through a full analysis of what our options are. But if within the driveway, the initial thought was the front, we have to find that 10,080 feet of square footage to comply. If we can move that to the back and solve the problem that way, that could be. We worry a little bit that that part of the property is a little bit higher than the driveway that moves down to the street. So will we be collecting more water up there or not? We're not there yet. This is all kind of a real-time issue, but we're certainly willing to consider any options within the driveway area. But again, we've got basement flooding in the past that we solved before, thankfully. I think our biggest appeal here is, is there any way that if we had done this 5 months ago, we wouldn't be having this conversation? We let things lapse because we tried to marry these two projects together with the thing that we're looking to do in the back part of the house. It's a little unfortunate. Stuff does happen, but as far as what you mentioned in terms of an appeals committee, we would like to appeal to the committee to reconsider our need to do this. But yes, if necessary, we can look at the back part of the house instead of the front part of the house. But we're willing to comply, but we're hoping that we could be grandfathered in.
It's something we'll discuss.
Okay, thank you.
I can make no promises.
We understand, and just thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Tammy, do we have anybody who wishes to speak in favor of this application?
So if you've called in, Press *9 to raise your hand and then *6 to unmute if you'd like to speak on this item. No raised hands.
Okay. Well,
very well.
For what it's worth, we've had basically most of our block that's been in support of this and asked us if they needed to attend this meeting. We didn't think it was necessary to have people attend on our behalf because we thought it was approved already and we didn't want to have a line of people voicing for approval. But I think looking at the other way, if no one's objecting, all I can do is represent that we've had a number of neighbors come our way to say that they would be willing to speak on our behalf, to say this is something that would be beneficial to the house and not detrimental to the block. If we need to get signed letters, we can do that, but just
that's already in the past.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just mentioning it for what it's worth.
Tammy, did we get the certified mailings returned?
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. Then obviously those people have no objections. Any further comments from the board?
Not from me.
Okay. Hearing none, I will close this item and we will move forward with discussions. And as usual, we will work in reverse order. So we will discuss 24051602, Luke and Juliana Belcastro. Board, any comments?
Seems pretty straightforward to me. I don't have any adverse comments.
Neither do
no
I.
issue with the basic ask of the the situation on the front of the house. The permeable pavement part of this is kind of interesting.
What can I say? It's a requirement. Tammy, did they request a variance of that in their application?
They did not, and they cannot. The regulations specifically prohibit, we used to only restrict use or prohibit use variances. We now restrict some additional variance requests.
Then I don't think there's any issue, at least in my mind, that we cannot vary the requirement for hard surface coverage in this case. And I think if the applicant has concern about flooding in the basement, my recommendation would be two parts. One, consider doing pervious paving in front of the garage. The second is to talk to a landscape architect or a civil engineer to help them solve that drainage problem along the north side of the house if there is that great a concern.
I agree. I think if it was solved by asphalt paving, it was probably a grading situation that can be remedied with a pervious surface also.
Well, I can honestly say we've had some landscaping done in our yard. My landscape architect was here on the job and solved a drainage problem in 5 minutes by creating a landscaped area with a dry creek bed. And this week's storm proved that it absolutely worked. And the bunker under my wraparound porch no longer floods. So I know it can be solved.
Yeah,
Any other
I'm
comments?
inclined to agree as well.
Okay.
I can certainly sympathize with the applicant. When you're managing a large project, sometimes things fall through the cracks. I certainly have those experiences in my own life and at work and whatnot. But sometimes when you have to revisit something, the conditions have changed, and I think this is just one of those times.
I think so. Well, if there are no other comments, I'll call for a vote on this. I'll make a motion that we approve the variance for the new roof on the front of the house and deny the request for the increase in hard surface area, and leave it up to the applicant to decide which portion of the driveway gets removed, and with the introduction of pervious surface. All in favor? Someone want to second that?
I'll second it.
Second.
I'm sorry, Ben, you can do it. It's fine.
All right.
Okay, Ben will second it. All in favor of approving this application as modified? Raise your hand. We are unanimous in our approval. Okay, the first item on our agenda, 240516-01 Vance Fazzino. I think that we need to have further discussion at the next meeting once we receive the certified proof of mailing, and take it from there. I will hold this item open until the June 20th meeting. Anyone have any comment on that?
Yeah, I think it would be really great if the applicant gave Tammy Maldonado a call and discussed how he might fit the building in on that small lot. And she make it clear to him that he has not made a request to build the building.
Well, I'll make a personal observation. I think that the site plan as presented, not showing new setbacks, is going to become very problematic. It's going to become not a square building, but a very different building in a very different location on the site. And he's also going to have to resolve the parking because it is in a front yard. So I will leave it up to Mr. Fazzino how he wants to resolve these couple of issues.
I just suggest you give him a call, get some information.
Yes.
He might want more than that ultimately.
Well, I agree, Andy. I think while it's great to build a small structure for this purpose, and I understand his need and desire, I think it's become more complicated than he realizes.
Yeah, agree.
So
I would like to put forward what, or have us discuss what Tammy suggested in the staff findings, because, which is that we are approving the exception to unmerge the lots with the requirement that the new regulations are met. Now, that might seem like a distinction without a difference, but to me, it might give the applicant the encouragement that this process is moving forward, and that the ball is now back in his court to meet the new requirements, but he has at least a conditional approval for unmerging.
Can we even consider a partial approval tonight of the unmerging without the certified mailings?
No, I don't think so.
I don't either. So I'd like to leave this
But we
item
certainly
open.
can give, but Lee, you can certainly, as chairman, give him some straight talk advice.
Okay. My comment, Andy, is that I have no objection to the lots being unmerged. And I mean, we've seen this before, these lots merge, unmerge, with the value of real estate, unmerging lots, is it's not a financial windfall, but it provides some financial security in that they own the property. It's a buildable lot, and whether he builds it or sells it off and somebody else builds, they're going to have to come before us to get variances for it.
Awesome.
I think it's, yeah, we can only speculate. So I would like to say to Mr. Fanzino that we would support his application to unmerge the lots at the time he submits the proof of mailings at the next meeting. Any objections to that?
No.
I think I take Member Lyons' suggestion as being a good one, which is we make it clear that he has to meet the new zoning requirements. I don't really want to go past that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's clear. And my intention was to try to give the encouragement without actually ratifying anything. And I think you've given that encouragement already, Lee. So my read on this is that if certified mailings are done and the revisions to the plan are done that meet the new regulations, this, in theory, could be completed at the next meeting. Is that an overstatement?
No, I think it's a very concise statement. I think it at least meets my expectations, obviously yours, and hearing no objections from any other board members, I think it could be a verbal consensus without a vote.
So you're going to require Mr. Fanzino provides up-to-date plans? I thought you could, that was why I suggested.
Well, I don't think he at this point has to provide us with an updated survey. I think he just needs to get the mailings out and back to your office, Tammy, to get approval for the unmerging of the two lots.
Sounds good.
We're struggling here a bit. We don't need to. We establish conditions almost all the time, and they're recommended by Lyon, myself, and I think Lee, if I'm not misunderstanding, that we condition the current zoning requirements. And I just want him to know that. I mean, he seemingly wasn't very aware of what is currently required, and I think it would help him a lot if he found out. But in the meantime, I think we should agree to impose it just as staff suggested.
I agree with Andy.
I agree with Andy.
I agree.
Agreed.
So I'll move that as stated.
I think we have a consensus without having to vote on this. And we'll hold that vote at the June 20th meeting. All agreed?
Yes, agreed.
Yep.
Okay. Tammy, you will pass that advice along?
I will.
Thank you very much. We need to hope everyone has read through the minutes of the April 18th meeting. Does anyone have any objections, problems, issues with the meeting minutes?
No, not with the minutes. Did you get any phone calls from people in the area regretting our decision?
So no phone calls. The attorney that represented the rear neighbor reached out just to ask for, I sent her the link to the minutes and copy of the published decision. And then I didn't hear any more.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Okay. Someone make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ben. Someone second?
I'll second.
I'll second. Okay. All in favor of approving the draft minutes of the April 18th hearing, signify by raising your hand. We have approval. Thank you. I'll make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
I'll be thinking of you all when I'm standing on a glacier a couple weeks from now.
Wow.
Where is this glacier?
North of Juneau. I'm taking a helicopter out to it.
Andy,
Wow.
in 2 weeks, I'm going to be in Alaska.
Well, maybe we'll have our helicopters cross paths with
Well,
each
I'm
other.
not taking a
not a
helicopter
good
ride.
idea.
I'm taking a plane ride over 6 glaciers.
Wow.
Well, that's cool. That's cool.
So
Both of you guys take some pictures, please. Make sure you show some
absolutely,
pictures. Be nice. For those who can't make it to
absolutely,
Alaska.
Steve. This is a trip that we have put off for the last 4 years because of COVID and other health issues. So
Yeah.
Nice.
I will enjoy it.
Well, good luck to both of you. Have a great time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everyone,
Thank you,
have a good month. We'll see you in July.
Have a safe
Good
evening.
night.
Alrighty.
Thank you all.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Good night.
Good night.